This show, just like all the other Starrcast shows, are available at adfreeshows.com.
In this past year's class, and long awaited, a lot of people wanted to see this happen, that you were inducted again with the Hart Foundation and a great tribute to Jim the Anvil Neidhart. And Brett, I thought it was awesome. Not only did you pay tribute to Jim, but also all of these other great tag teams that we had a chance to see back then, and there were so many.
My speech, in case you didn't notice, was really important to me this year, and I wanted very much to speak on Jim's behalf, and just say some nice things about. Like, I watched some of these Hall of Fame speeches. I won't name names, but so many wrestlers that were up there never thanked anybody. They thanked Stephanie, and they thanked Vince, and they thanked Triple H, and I thought it was such bullshit. You know, they should thank the wrestlers that made them and the wrestlers that worked with them. And I was really disappointed at how so many of them never thanked any of the wrestlers that went to all the trouble to help them in their careers. Most of them never had any recollection of anybody helping them. And I was disappointed with a lot of the speeches. I remember going, these guys are the shits. You know, if they ever get me to go up there, I got things I'd like to say about the wrestlers that worked with us and helped us. And I was glad that I was able to, even in a small way, to thank some of the teams like the Bees and the Rougeau brothers and the Haku and Tonga Kid, and there was so many teams we worked with, but they were so good, and the Bulldogs too. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it just insane that the Freebirds and some of these other teams, the Rock and Roll Express, are in the Hall of Fame when they never even wrestled in WWE? I was there in the dressing room when Andre the Giant fired Michael Hayes because he was drunk, and he was fired, and they were done. And I know Terry Gordy came around later, but his brain had been removed by then. And it's true. I mean, Terry Gordy was a great wrestler, but he did way too many drugs, man. There was nothing. The lights were on, and nobody was home anymore. And that's just the sad truth at the time. But I felt that the Hart Foundation, not just the Hart Foundation, but the Bulldogs, the Demolition, even the Killer Bees and the Rougeau brothers, as far as teamwork and moves and things like that, they were all established, great working teams from whatever territories they came from. But we were all really good wrestlers, and to have that opportunity to thank them for all the matches where they made me and all the matches that we had, such safe wrestlers. Like Jim Brunzell could throw the greatest dropkick in wrestling and never hurt you. He was such a pro. Brian Blair was a great wrestler. Both the Rougeau brothers were solid wrestlers. And I think of Tito and Rick Martel, and you can just go on and on. Even the Rockers. How is it that the Rockers are not in the Hall of Fame? And how is it that the Midnight Express are, or not the Midnight Express, the Rock and Roll Express are? I was there in the dressing room when they told the Rock and Roll Express that they were too small and they weren't good enough to be on WWE TV. And I go, there's something wrong with the Hall of Fame when they don't pay homage to the guys that really did the work. Even Demolition, I think there's a concussion lawsuit going on so they've been kind of blackballed. They're not allowed, they can't celebrate them or give them any credit for what they did. They were the tag team through the 90s or 80s, and if you're gonna give the Freebirds a free pass into the Hall of Fame for nothing, for being drunk all the time, then I think you could give Demolition or the Killer Bees or even the Hillbillies, Elmer and Hillbilly Jim. I mean, at least they did the work. They were there. They're actually in the dressing room putting their boots on. They did the time. And I think That's what I find sort of troubling about the Hall of Fame sometimes.
Yeah, there's some politics involved. But I have to also give you credit. There was a little interruption during that speech, and what were you like, what the hell was going on?
I'm waiting for it to happen again.
He's going to be ready this time.
Well, I felt bad that happened, and when I think about it now, it's like you got that stubborn heart, stubbornness now. It's like, I was determined to finish my speech, damn it, and I wasn't.
You did a great job.
I came here for a reason. I wanted to speak about Jim the Anvil, and I worked hard on my speech. I worked for about 2 weeks on it, sort of tweaking it, and I thought I had it down right, and when that guy interrupted it and tried to ruin it, I was like, I think they were actually trying to clear everybody out of the ring like we were done, like next. And I was like, no, I'm not done yet. I'm not even getting warmed up yet. And so I feel bad at what happened to him, but
Really?
It wasn't such a bad day for me. It was more of a bad day for him.
Exactly. All right, we're going to open it up to questions here in a sec. I just wanted to mention one thing that really stood out to me as you wrap that up, Bret, is you said, don't live the second half of your life regretting the first. And I just thought that just really touched me, and I know coming from you, that means a lot.
Well, I think that often, I'm sort of, people get this impression that I'm, angry, bitter guy that never got over what happened, which I never really got over what happened, but but I at the same time, I wouldn't change anything. I loved my career. I loved the work I had. I loved working with Jim the Anvil Neidhart. It was so much fun every day. I laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed and had so many great memories with Jim. And I just, going back to all the years that I worked for WWF and WWE, I just had so many good memories and to have had that opportunity to work with all the great wrestlers that I worked with, from Andre to, the other guys I've named, but the Bulldogs and I just loved so much of what I did, and I worked so hard, and I still stand by my work today. And so I don't have a lot of bad feelings about my career, but I do have regrets about some of the stuff that happened, like my injury. I wish that Bill Goldberg had never kicked me in the head as hard as he could. I don't know how you give a guy a Hall of Fame thing for hurting as many wrestlers that Bill Goldberg hurt, and without consequence. I mean, he usually got a pat on the back and told how good a job he did out there when you were scraping the wrestler that worked with him off the mat. And so I feel bad sometimes that, when Bill Goldberg kicked me in the head, honest to God, I lost about $16 million in like 1 second. It's like all the money, all the contract money that I had. I just signed with WCW for $3 million a year for another 3 years on top of the 2 years that I had left on my original contract. So it was bad timing, and it was unfortunate. And I know Bill never did it on purpose, but I think that's why a few months ago I was as stiff as I was about Seth Rollins hurting guys in the ring. To be honest, in pro wrestling, injuries do happen. And there's always going to be injuries and things that happen from unexpected things. But it's not about hurting each other. It's about, like I said, it's more like figure skating. And if you can't go out there and figure skate with me, don't work with me. I'm not about chopping me. I can remember Ric Flair used to like chopping me all the time. And they hurt. You get these blisters on your chest, and you handprint on your chest for like 3 days, and it's funny. I always remember going, that's what they do to the rookies. They give them, they chop you and keep chopping you, and it's like they think it's a badge of honor or something, which is probably why everyone in the building goes, woo, But it hurts. And I remember Rick telling me, I said, Rick, no more chops. No more chops. He goes, but it's part of my thing. I've always do a chop. It's like people expect it. And I said, if you do a chop, he said, I got a move I do. I said, you go ahead and chop me. Give me a big chop. I'll give you my whole chest and everything. And then I'll look at you like this, and then I'll punch you right in the mouth as hard as I can. And I remember Rick looked at me and he said, are you kidding? I said, no, I'm not. I said, I'll punch you right in the nose as hard as I can. And we never did chops after that. And it was like...
Yeah, awesome. More good memories than bad. That's fantastic.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.